Combining like terms 3. Previously, we've been introduced to three types of tiles. We have our unit tiles, our x tiles, and our x squared tiles. In this video, we'll be expanding our set of algebra tiles to include three new shapes. And we will be using these new tiles to help solve more complicated combining like term problems. Here we have our three new tiles. Let's take a look at this purple rectangle first. First, let's go and compare the width of our purple rectangle with their unit tile. Notice that they have the same width, so this purple rectangle has a width of 1. Now let's go ahead and compare the height. Let's stack these unit tiles and see if we can determine what the height of this purple rectangle is. Notice that it looks bigger than 4 but less than 5, but we don't know exactly what the height of our purple rectangle is. Now let's go ahead and compare the height of the purple rectangle to our x tile. Our x tile also represents a height that's unknown, but is not exactly the same as our purple tile. So we have another unknown height that's not the same as x. So what should we label the height of our purple rectangle? We're going to label the height of our purple rectangle as y. Y represents another unknown height that's not the same as x. And since this has a base 1 and height y, the area of our purple rectangle is going to be y. Now let's go ahead and see how y compares with this bigger purple shape. So let's go ahead and compare the height. Notice that the height of our rectangle is the same as the height of this shape here. So they both have a height of y. Now let's go ahead and compare the base. If I move this purple one along the base, notice that the width of the purple shape is also going to be y. So we can label this as y. If this purple shape has a height of y and a base of y, what should the area of this purple square be? Y times y is going to be called y squared. Finally, let's go ahead and take a look at our green rectangle. Notice that it has a base of y and it has a height of x. So it has a base y, height x. What should we call this green rectangle? X times y is going to be xy. So here are our three new tiles. We have our y tile, we have our y squared, and we have our xy. Problem 1. First, let's go and group all the y squares together. So moving these y squareds with these y squareds. Since these are the same signs, we're going to count them up. So what's 2y squared plus 2y squared? We have a total of 4y squared. Now let's go and group our y's together. We have 4y and a negative y. What's 4y minus y? Notice that these are opposite signs, so they're going to cancel out. So we're left with 3y's left over, plus 3y. And now let's go and combine our ones. We have plus 5 and minus 2. What's plus 5 and negative 2? These are opposite signs, so they're going to cancel, leaving us with positive 3, plus 3. So our final answer is going to be 4y squares, 3y, plus 3. Problem 2. Let's go ahead and group like terms. We're going to start off with our x squares. So which x squares do we have? We have this x squared and we have 3x squared. So let's go ahead and group those together. What's x squared plus 3x squared? Counting these up, we have 1, 2, 3, 4. So we have 4x squared. Now let's go ahead and group our x's together. We have 5x plus 2x. What's 5x and 2x going to be? Notice that these are the same sign, so we're just going to count them up. 2, 4, 5, 6, 7. We have a total of 7 x's. Now let's go and group our y squares. We have y squared here and y squared here. Counting these up, we have a total of 2 y squares. Now let's go and group up our y's. We have 2y and another y here. So what's 2y plus y? We have a total of 3 y's. And finally, let's go and group our ones. We have a plus 4 and a plus 2. And so those are going to be 4 plus 2 is going to add up to 6 plus 6. So our final answers, we have 4x squares plus 7x's plus 2y squares plus 3y plus 6. Problem 3. Let's go and start out with our x squares. We have 3x squared here and a minus x squared here. So what's 3x squared plus a negative x squared? We know that opposites are going to cancel out. So we're left with 2x squares. Now let's go and combine our x's. We have a 3x here and a 3x here. So what's 3x plus 3x going to be? Grouping up our x squares. 3x plus 3x, we're going to end up with 6x plus 6x. Now let's go and group our y squares. We have a negative y square and positive 2y square. So what's negative y squared plus 2y squared? These are going to cancel out, leaving us with a y squared plus y squared. Now let's go and deal with our y's. We have a negative 2y and then we have a positive 4y. Notice that these are opposite signs, so these are going to cancel out. What's negative 2y and 4y? We're going to end up with positive 2y. Finally, let's deal with our 1's. We have a negative 6 and we have a positive 1. So what's negative 6 plus 1? Notice that these are opposite signs, so they're going to cancel out. And since we have more negatives, our final answer is going to be minus 5. So altogether we have 2x squared plus 6x plus y squared plus 2y minus 5. Problem 4. Let's start with our x squareds. We have negative 2x squared and a positive x squared. What's negative 2x squared plus an x squared? Notice that these are opposites, so they're going to cancel out, leaving us with 1 negative x squared, or negative x squared. Now let's deal with our x's. We have a negative 5x and a positive 2x. What's negative 5x plus 2x? These are opposite signs, so they're going to cancel out. And we have minus 3x left over. So minus 3x. Let's take a look at our y squares. We have a y square and another y square. Since these are the same sign, we're just going to count them up. So we have a total of 2y squares. So plus 2y squares. Now let's go and check our y's. We have a 4y and a minus 3y. What's minus 3y plus 4y? These are opposite signs, so they're going to cancel out. So we're left with one positive y plus y. And finally, looking at our 1's, we have a negative 7 and a negative 3. Since these are the same signs, nothing cancels out. So we're just going to count them up. 7 negatives and 3 more negatives. We have a total of minus 10, 10 negatives. So our final answer is going to be negative x squared minus 3x plus 2y squared plus y minus 10. Problem 5. Let's go and combine like terms. Let's go and start with our x squares. We have 3x squared and another 3x squared. So counting these up, let's move these to the side. What's 3x squared plus 3x squared? Notice that these are the same sign, so nothing cancels out. So just counting them up, we have a total of 6x squares. Let's go and deal with our y squares first. We have a negative y squared and we have another negative 3y squared. So what's negative y squared plus negative 3y squared? Again, since both of these are the same sign, nothing cancels out. So we have a total of 4y squareds, but they're all negative, so we have minus 4y squared. Let's go and deal with our x's. We have plus 5x and we have minus x. So what's 5x minus x? Notice that these are opposite signs. So a positive is going to cancel out with a negative, leaving us with 4x's left over plus 4x. Now let's take a look at our y's. We have plus 2y and minus 4y. What's 2y and negative 4y? Notice that these are opposite signs. So we have 2y's left over, but since we started off with more negatives, we have 2 negative y's left over. Minus 2y left over. And finally, let's deal with our xy. We have an xy here and 2 more xy's. So counting these up, we have a total of 3xy plus 3xy. So our final answer is going to be 6x squared minus 4y squared plus 4x minus 2y plus 3xy. To summarize, when combining like terms, we're going to group all our x squares together, our x's together, our y squares together, our y's, our xy's, and our 1's together. Each of these represent a different term.